Hey, Doug Upstone here, and today is today I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I am watching the Royals of Kansas City and the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is the home of the Diamondbacks here in Scottsdale, so you can see the ballpark in the background, and the game is currently started. It's the bottom of the second here. Talk about both teams. Kansas City, okay, great year last year. This season they are predicted, their odds are tied for second in the division, tied for eighth to win the American League, 14th for the World Series. That's not so great, but their over-under number is 83.5. Now, Kansas City had a 30-win improvement last year. 30, got all the way to 86. Now, normally anything more than 15 is considered a really big and substantial difference, and typically what jumps out at you is that odds makers the following year lower the total, thinking of some regression. And as I just gave you the numbers, 86 last year, 83.5 this year, they're looking for some regression. Now, the concern for the Royals is the starting pitching. Seth Lugo, he is 34 years old, pitched a career high 200 innings last year. Mike Owaka had a great year, okay, going over to the Royals, but had some career numbers in several categories last year. And their ace, Cole Ragans, great pitcher, he jumped from 124 innings all the way up to 186. It's hard to imagine that all three of those guys are going to get all the way through the season without having some issues from a durability standpoint. Now, the offense revolves around superstar Bobby Witt Jr., okay? The guy's tremendous. Unfortunately, he's not playing today, but hey, that's spring training baseball. So, but everything revolves around him, and last year he had just an absolutely wonderful season. Clutch at bats throughout the year and really carried the Royals. Now, Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino, very good years. Both are very good hitters. I expect them to do well. But Perez, I'm a little concerned about because he's on the downside of his career by age. Had a great year last year, okay? But is that going to continue this year? I think he's going to likely come back to career norms. So looking at this team, to me, they look like the Kansas City is going to be about a 500 team. So if I was going to recommend anything for a wager, I would recommend maybe an under, okay, on the total, but not for sure, okay, on that. That's just a lean on that one. So the other thing, the Arizona Diamondbacks, okay, picked to be second in their division, tied for fifth by odds for the National League, tied for ninth for the World Series, and a season win total of over 86.5. Now, we all know baseball is a funny sport, okay? In 2023, Diamondbacks won 84 games, and they got all the way to the World Series, got in the playoffs, got in the World Series. Last year, they won 5 more games, okay? Didn't even make it to the postseason, okay? But I don't think that's deterred this team whatsoever. Arizona last year, number 1 in scoring offense in baseball by a wide margin. And they didn't even get a great year out of what should be their best player, Corbin Carroll. Didn't have a great year. He's playing today, by the way. But he finished really strong. And I think that's a really good adjustment by Corbin. I think that could lead to him having a big year. Now, they did lose Christian Walker, the first baseman, so their defense will be weaker in the infield here. But they added another power bat in Josh Naylor at first base. Remember him from Cleveland? He's coming off a career year for home runs and RBIs, and there's going to be a lot of Diamondbacks guys on base. So I think that's a very positive sign. Ownership for Arizona, notoriously cheap in the past, but now they see this as their window of opportunity. I give them a lot of credit, okay, for doing that, because this is kind of a big deal for them. And besides bringing in Naylor, they also brought in Corbin Burnes to anchor their staff. That drops Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly's pitching today, by the way. That drops them down a notch. So you think of this, you got Gallen, Kelly, and Burnes going into different series. With a 3-game series, those guys are going to be tough to beat. Bullpen last year, complete disaster. They didn't make a lot of changes. I think they're kind of going at it and looking at it, well, it's like, couldn't be any worse, so it can only get better. So nobody's expecting Arizona to compete with the Dodgers. That's real easy to understand. But an argument can be made, and I'm going to make it, that they're the second best team of all the teams that are picked to be second in their division. So in this one, as long as the Diamondbacks dominate the Giants and the Rockies, which I think is very possible, I think they're an overplay of 86.5 on that one. So there's my baseball report for these two teams. I'll be back later this week with 2 more teams to talk about as I continue to go around the Arizona here and check out spring training baseball. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon.